Hello and welcome to another video of Wise Interactive Learning. This is going to be a video which is very short and we'll try to understand what are the maximum and minimum values of a function. We have already covered it through first derivative test, second derivative test, but in this particular video we are going to see it in a closed interval. So what are closed intervals? So first let us define what are closed intervals, right? So in case of if you take a graph like y equals to mod of x, so let's take it, okay, and if you take the graph it will look something like this. And if you can see, for this particular graph the minimum value is going to be x equals to 0, right, and y is equals to 0. At x equals to 0 the value is going to be 0, but in case of maximum value you aren't going to find any maximum value, since this is going towards infinity, also this is going towards infinity, so there's no absolute maximum value for this particular functions. So mathematicians are clever people, right, and they need to be very specific to very point where they need to understand what happens in a particular range. For example, weather and other stuff which I have already discussed in the videos. So they said that if we take an interval and if we defined the exact intervals for that particular functions, then we might get the exact values. So in this particular graph I am going to discuss how can we take minimum and maximum values in a closed interval. So if you see, we have taken two conditions, which is y is mod of x, and the first condition is x belongs to 0 comma 3, and second condition is square brackets of 0 comma 3. What does this mean? In the first condition it means that x does not belong for 0 and 3, so 0 and 3 are not included inside the function, and in the second it means that 0 and 3 are included inside the function. So in this case where the first condition is applied, we can say that 0, it is not going to be the point under that function, and from 0 it will go to 3, but it is not going to occupy the number 3 inside it. So you see, for this particular graph you are going to have 0 and 3 excluded, and for second condition where 0 and 3 are included, you are going to see that both the points are included. So here 0 is also included, 3 is also included, and over here 0 is not included and 3 is also not included. So from graph we can easily say that, see, over here 3 is not included, so there is no maximum value, no max value. Why? Because it can be 2.99999 till infinite and we cannot define it. Similarly, there is going to be no minimum value. Why? Because it can be 0.0000001, 0.000, infinitely small number, but 0 is not going to be, so we cannot define it. But in the second case, if you look closely, we can say that since 0 is included, 0 is going to be the minimum value, and since 3 is included, 3 is going to be the maximum value, isn't it? So when we define a function, it should be always defined in closed interval if we need to find out the exact minimum and the maximum values. So now we'll check through why have we learned this and what is the main purpose behind learning this. So now we need to check this, okay, and we have learned that there are minimum values in closed interval, there are maximum values in closed interval. So let's say your closed interval which is given is a to d, okay, and you can see that there are two maximum points, local maximum points, and two local minimum points, and this is going to help you in understanding why do we give closed intervals. So let's say if this function is giving us the temperature for the day, so temperature for the day starting from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. let's see, right, and if we see that at 6 or rather a at this particular point and at this particular point there are two values which are having the maximum turning point. So what is the meaning? So at these 2 points you are going to have the maximum values of that particular function, which are going to be local maximas. And for f of b, or rather the point b and the point d, are going to be the lowest. Okay, so now we have a question over here, and it states that within the interval of 1 and 5 we need to find out what is the maximum value of this particular function f of x. And it states that you can do it by any method, so there's no restriction about that, but we are now going to see how can we apply our knowledge towards this. So we have learned first derivative and second derivative test, and we are just going to apply it over here, right? So immediately the first step is f dash of x. So we have 6x square minus 30x plus 36. So this is the first step, and if we equate f dash of x to 0, then what do we have? 6x square minus 30x plus 36 is going to be 0. So from this we have, if we divide throughout by 6, we get x square minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. And in this case you are going to have x minus 3 and x minus 2, and hence x equals to 2 and 3. These are going to be your turning points. Now just by looking at this and saying that the minimum or maximum value of this particular function is going to coming through these particular 2 points, this is going to be a very vague or unwanted answer, since we have been given a interval to find out. So this is the interval which we are required to find out the minimum and maximum. So by second derivative test, if we directly go and if we test it, so f double dash of x, what is going to be? 12x minus 30. So if we look over here, so f double dash of 2, it is going to be minus 6, which is less than 0, and you will immediately say that this point is maximum. And f double dash of 3, it is going to be 36 minus 30, which is 6, which is greater than 0, and you will say that this point is minimum. So in the second derivative test we have seen that when you get the f double dash of 2, or rather the second derivative test, as less than 0, it is going to be the point of maximum value. So now we have learned this, but is there something missing in this place? So if you check over here, so first we'll have f of 2 and f of 3, and let's put just f and f over here, right? So if we take f of 2, what is going to be our whole answer? So let's take again, so we need to put 2 inside this function. So if we put 2, we have 2x cube, then minus 15 times x square, which is 2, okay. So now we need to check what is f of 2. So we have 2 cube minus 15 2 squared plus 36 times 2 plus 1, right? And 2 times 3 cube minus 15 times 3 squared plus 36 times 2 plus 1. And it is already clearly stated from the second derivative test that this function is going to be having the maximum and this function is going to be having the minimum value. So now let's check, okay? So your answer is going to be 29. Now, so this is going to be 28. Now, if you check, this is a minimum value which is less than 29 surely. But if we take f of 1 and f of 5, let's check what happens since we are given the intervals. So f of 1 is going to be 2 times 1 cube minus 15 times 1 squared plus 36 plus 1. So this is going to be 2 minus 15, which is going to be minus 13, plus 36 is going to be plus 23 plus 1, it's going to be 24. And now here you clearly see that we have a value which is lower than 28. And in case of f of 5, we have 2 times 5 cube minus 15 times 5 squared plus 36 times 5 plus 1, which is going to be 56. And now you can clearly see that 56 is greater than 29. So if we go by just standard methods of doing first derivative test or second derivative test, you are going to sometimes fall in a trap if the intervals are given. So for this example, it was given 1 and 5. So we can say that when you are given any time interval or any time frame or any interval of that domain, you should always check the particular limit values. So in this case, the limit values were 1 and 5, which were the extreme points. So by standard method, if we went, we would have ended up getting the answer as 29 or 28 if it was not given in time interval. But since the time intervals were given, your answers are going to be 24, which is going to be the minimum value, and 56, which is going to be the maximum value. So in this way, we have completed the theoretical part or the conceptual part of finding the maxima and minimas. So in the next video, we are going to surely start with 6.5 exercise, which is going to be from the NCERT book, and we'll try to cover all the questions and answers through that particular video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.